I'm going to call the regular council public hearing meeting to order. If I could have an adoption of the minutes, please. May 11, special regular. So moved. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Regular council land use.
Minutes be adopted for May 11th.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Minutes to be adopted, public hearing May 11th.
If I could just ask for those minutes to be amended to show that Councillor Villeneuve did not oppose the child care centre. It was Councillor Hain. And look for a motion to adopt as amended. Councillor Martin, if that's all right.
So moved.
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Regular minutes be adopted for special regular council May 14th.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, and that's carried. Madam Clerk, the first and only, surprisingly, delegation or public hearing this evening
is zoning amendment bylaw 18452. The address is 5948 and 5956 184th Street. The applicant is the City of Surrey. The applicant is seeking to rezone the site from local commercial to single-family residential 12, and the applicant is proposing to subdivide the site into 5 single-family small lots.
I have no one signed up to speak to this bylaw. Is there anyone wishing to speak to this bylaw? First call. Yes, sir? Make your way to the mic. Name and address, please.
Surabjit Singh, 12626 Hampton Court, Surrey. Madam Mayor, we are on behalf of the community centre, the temple, the Gurdwara that's beside this property. Now, there are a few issues that we would like to bring forward. Number one is because it's a community centre which has been there for a few years now, we do have a congregation meeting there quite often and in large numbers. So there's always going to be a privacy issue between the property that's going to be developed on the site and our use of that property that we have already been using for many years. And also the safety, because the main entrance is going to be right beside our parking lot. So it's going to be a safety issue between the temple now and the property that's proposed to be developed. The other thing is that we do have functions at late or early hours in the morning, and it'll be an issue which will breed a lot of bad blood between the property that is slated for development, between us having functions at wee hours in the morning, because we do have prayer sessions in the morning with large crowds. At the moment we have no issue because there's nothing on the site there, but if that property is developed, there would be objections by those property owners that we are either having functions at hours that are, but that's when we have our prayer sessions. So we would like the City of Surrey to consider those things. Number one is the privacy between the properties, the safety and issues that we mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to this bylaw? Yes, sir?
Yeah, hi, ma'am. My name is Narinder, and I'm a resident of 5938 184th Street, which is just the closest property to this new proposed development. I would like to highlight some points being a resident. First and foremost is the congestion and parking problem. I have the corner lot, and unfortunately I am the only person in that new development which has only one car parking in front of my house. And I'm living there for a year and a half now, and I think every weekend we have problem of parking with neighbors, especially with the temple, because whenever they have a function, a lot of people come there and they park everywhere. Naturally they need a parking. So at this time, temple is still small, congregation is still small, and it is the only temple in that side of, if you count Langley, Aldergrove, South Surrey, and people will be growing in numbers. So this is going to be a big problem for our neighborhood, which is also newly developed, I think, if you see maybe 2 years, developed by Mesquite builders. There is 23 houses. Because, just beside the road, which is on 59A, that is also a narrow road. And the properties, new proposed properties will be facing on that road. They will need a parking. So this is going to be a big issue. Second, I would like to, highlight the greenery part. There is no greenery will be left once this property is developed. There will be no greenery besides of all this new development. And second, most of the residents of the new development are young families, and we have no park or any way to at least take a stroll. So this greenery is very important for us, for our neighborhood. Fourth point, I will highlight. At this time, this property is working as a buffer zone between us and the temple. Temple has prayers in the morning. Temple has a prayers in the evening. A lot of people visit them in the evening and also on the weekends. A lot of noise. Whoever has a religious belief, they understand and they can understand what is going on. But whoever don't feel that way, it's totally different for them. And both of these points, I'm talking on my behalf of my other neighbor too, who lives at 5938, Mr. Devinder Vek. So I already discussed with him. And a lot of other neighbors already signed a petition too, which was organized by the temple guys. I think you guys already got those faxes. Thank you, ma'am. So again, I request you please consider this development. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to this bylaw? Yes, sir.
It's Wayne Doucette, 6368 189 A Street, talking on behalf of the temple. This temple is only 4 years old. They lost the temple in Cloverdale just prior to that. They have 4,500 family members visiting the temple every month, and it's going to grow. But the seniors and the children that come have no place to sit or socialize as the prayers are going on in the church, so they're going to be sitting in a parking lot, and that's our biggest complaint. The other thing is on C4, there is no buffer zone that's going to work, and on the north, we're sitting with a gas station. So we would suggest that C4 be turned into a park for both the temple use as benches and park-like atmosphere, which the temple is prepared to pay a portion of it, the development of it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to this bylaw? Please come forward, sir. Where's the sheet? There's nobody here.
Respected Madam Mayor and Councillors, good evening everybody. My name is Paramjit and I am head priest of the temple. City of Surrey has lots of land, hundreds of thousand acres, but that particular land is just a little dot on the map, but extremely important for us because it's a temple or worship place. People come after stressful life for peace and meditation. My concern is if we have these houses back to back with our yard, we have so many issues when the people lives there right beside, there's no privacy. So if there's intense feeling out there in the worship area, where will people go to have peace? So I request, please reconsider before you reach any conclusion. Thank you very much.
Councillor Gill? Sir, there is a question, please. Come. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In terms of this property that we have in front of us today with the 5 lots, has the temple expressed interest in acquiring those properties?
Yeah, we did the right beside on each side on the temple, not on the south side of this property.
So you have not expressed interest in acquiring these properties, correct?
We can discuss about this. We didn't think about that because it's new temple. There is a financial situation. If city can help us to make a park over there, we can do something about like sitting area, or we can make something, because important to have their neighborhood park over there or sitting area over there. If we can arrange a meeting with councillors, so our management can discuss about this.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to this bylaw?
Good evening, Mayor and the councillors. And I'm Ajab Singh Padda, living at 18055 62nd Avenue. I every day go to the temple, and I know kids and seniors come there, and I'm very concerned about the kids, The kids play in the parking lot, and, I really want something to play land for the kids there, and some benches for the senior, because when their other family sits in the temple, and the kids can play there, and the senior can sit there. So other thing, there's should be privacy between our worship and our house, because most of the people, when they go to the worship, and other neighbors maybe look at it differently, maybe they want to go or they don't want to go. So we need a buffer zone there in between the temple and the other residence area, and I will be very pleased if you let us make a children park and a senior park. We will help, and we will look around all the neighborhoods. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to this bylaw? First call, second call, third and final call. Thank you very much. That concludes the public hearing portion of this meeting. Moving on to committee reports. Diversity Advisory.
Move the minutes be received for March 24th.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried. Councillor Woods, do you wish to speak? Okay, thank you. Public Art Advisory Committee.
I'll move the minutes be received, and I'd like to mention another couple of things.
Seconder. Okay, Councillor Billoway.
Madam Mayor, I just want to bring to everyone's attention that this weekend, May 30th, is the opening of the Guildford Pool, and also of a major public art piece by Michael Crondall, and that's at 1:30, and there's going to be an artist talk about the public art piece afterwards, so just everyone in the public is invited to that, and I think it's going to be an extremely exciting opening with the new Olympic-sized pool and public art piece. And the second thing is, you may notice some of the banners along King George Boulevard, and they were designed after a selection process by an artist by the name of Nancy Chen, and they're called Cycle, and they talk about the fish and the water cycle, and I think they're a beautiful design by a young student from Simon Fraser and have added a lot to the boulevard. So just thought I'd mention those two pieces.
Thank you very much. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move the Agriculture and Food Security Advisory Committee meeting minutes of April 2nd, 2015 minutes to be received.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And I'll move the minutes of the Cultural Development Advisory Committee with just one comment. If there's a seconder.
Second.
I just wanted to remind Council and the community that the City does have a call for the Surrey Civic Treasure nominations, and that closing date is June 9th. So if anyone knows someone in the City that's made a contribution to the cultural development of the city or the community, it would be worthwhile looking at some criteria for that application and nominating them for a Surrey Civic Treasurer. Thank you.
I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move the minutes be received for the Board of Variance, April 8th.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And under the Mayor's report, I have proclamations. The first one is Bike to Work Week, whereas city plans, including the Sustainability Charter, Transportation Strategic Plan, and Cycling Plan, highlight the health and environmental benefits of active transportation. And whereas since 2005, it is also Bike to Work Week in May across Metro Vancouver, now therefore be it resolved that I, Linda Hepner, do hereby declare May 25 through 31 as Bike to Work Week in the City of Surrey, and urge all motorists to be aware of cyclists and encourage residents to participate in Bike to Work Week. World Oceans Week, whereas the United Nations proclaimed June 8 to be World Oceans Day in 2009, and whereas World Oceans Week Canada was established to encourage all Canadians to honor, celebrate, protect and preserve our waterways and oceans, as well as the habitat where 80% of the oxygen we breathe is generated. And whereas June 1 through 8 has been designated as World Oceans Week in Canada, now therefore be it resolved that I, Linda Hepner, do hereby declare June 1 through 8, 2015 as World Oceans Week in the City of Surrey. Access Awareness Day, June 6, whereas accessibility and inclusion is essential for ensuring that all community members have equity in opportunities and the ability to fully participate in community life, and whereas accessibility affects all aspects of community life, physical, social, and economic, including employment, transportation, recreation, housing, and other opportunities, and whereas we all have a role to play in ensuring that our communities are as accessible and inclusive as possible, now therefore be it resolved that I, Linda Hepner, do hereby declare June 6, 2015 as Access Awareness Day in the City of Surrey. National Health and Fitness Day, June 6, 2015. Whereas the Parliament of Canada wishes to increase awareness of the significant benefits of physical activity and to encourage Canadians to increase their participation in fitness activities, and whereas it is in Canada's interest to improve the health of all Canadians and to reduce the burden of illness on families and on the healthcare system, now therefore be it resolved that I, Linda Hepner, do hereby declare June 6, 2015 as National Health and Fitness Day in the City of Surrey. National Blood Donor Week, June 8 through 14. Whereas by donating blood during National Blood Donor Week, blood donors make sharing moments possible. And whereas over half of all Canadians will require blood or blood products for themselves or a family member during their lifetime. And whereas less than 4% of eligible Canadians donate blood and blood products every year, now therefore be it resolved that I, Linda Hepner, do hereby declare June 8 through 14 as National Blood Donor Week in the City of Surrey. And I'd like to acknowledge Central City for winning BOMA's Outstanding Building of the Year Award, which is an incredible achievement. It was up against a lot of projects in this region, and it's now going on to the nationals. So it had to do a lot to do with the management and the tenants and all of the other elements. But Central City, I want to publicly recognize how proud we are of them for winning the award for Outstanding Building of the Year. Moving on to corporate reports. C075, Climate Action.
Move recommendations,
Revenue
Madam Mayor.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move corporate report R076, the award of contract Crescent Beach Drainage Improvements, Phase 1.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move corporate report R077, award of contract South Cloverdale Canal and Ditch Drainage Improvements, BC Railroad to 180th Street.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move corporate report R078, award of contract Newton Town Centre Stormwater Detention Facility.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. I think it's an opportune time to say that that Newton Town Centre Stormwater Detention Facility is part of the new Newton Town Centre plan, and this is first phase of what we're going to see in developing that plan. Thank you. Next, Kennedy East Distribution Water Mains.
Move corporate report R079.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move corporate report R080, award of contract to 2014 minor drainage improvements.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move corporate report R081, award of contract from 160th Street widening from 96th Avenue to 103rd Avenue.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move corporate report R082, award of contract 2015 sidewalk construction package number 1.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move corporate report R083, award of contract West Village Park and District Energy Plant.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move corporate report R084, award of contract RFQ for thermoplastic pavement markings.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move corporate report R085, Fraser Highway design through Green Timbers Urban Forest.
Bruce.
Second.
Okay. Councillor Hain.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to point out that there was a great deal of consultation that went into the preparation of this corporate report, and a lot of the planning that went into looking at absolutely the least invasive and most favorable route to widen Fraser Highway through Green Timbers to complete the 4-laning of Fraser Highway, as well as prepare for of course, the eventuality of LRT coming down there. But there was land swaps, and there was a lot of consultation with environmental groups and so on. So there was a lot of careful thought given to this as staff moved through this process, and I just wanted to point that out because it was a lot of important work being done there.
Thank you. I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. My understanding is, Councillor Hain, that 144th Street will now no longer need to be widened, so that is an offset in terms of this. So I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move corporate report R086, Surrey Foundation Grant Administration.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Corporate report R087, late grant application.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move corporate report R088, Microsoft Volume Licensing and Maintenance Agreements.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move corporate report R089, the Surrey Homelessness and Housing Society 2015 Annual General Meeting.
I think...
Second.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Myself, due to a potential conflict of interest.
Thank you. We'll give Councillor LaFranc the opportunity to leave. Councillor Villeneuve. It's not on the table. Do you want to put it on the table first? Okay, thank you.
Move the motion.
Move the motion. And a seconder? Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to explain that this is just the annual general meeting of the Surrey Homelessness and Housing Society, as we report back to society members, and some of those members are the City of Surrey. So that's that, and Vera LaFranc is a staff member with Van City who greatly supports the society. So that's why she excused herself as well. Okay.
Okay, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And Councillor Woods, could I ask you to let the good councillor know she's welcome back?
While the good councillor comes back, I'll move corporate report R090, the Community Enhancement Partnership Program Grant.
Second.
All those in favor of the picnic in the park at Panorama Village, Councillor Villeneuve? or Councillor LaFranc for your advantage? Yes. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move Corporate Report R091, Community Enhancement Partnership Program.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move Corporate Report R092, the Community Enhancement Program for applications for Gratitude Garden Project.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. I love that name, Gratitude Garden.
Move Corporate Report R093, the Cloverdale Curling Club Operating Agreement from 2015 to 2020.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move Corporate Report R094, the Community Action Initiative on Support Recovery Homes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Vera wants to talk to her.
Councillor LaFranc?
I just wanted to thank staff for all the work that went into this memo and this corporate report, as this is such an important issue to the City of Surrey, the management of recovery houses. And recovery houses are a really important part of the system of recovery and housing people who are very vulnerable. And I think that asking for the BC government to provide a little extra support through a bed system is really important. And I look forward to really bringing this forward to the provincial government and working with my colleagues on council to make sure that Surrey's voice is heard at the province in terms of recovery houses and a way forward in making sure that these are managed appropriately in our city and in our neighbourhoods.
Thank you, Councillor Frank. I think that the report speaks to where there are weaknesses in the current system and how, as Surrey, as the pilot program, has emphasized where those weaknesses are, and that will be advocating very strongly with the provincial government to solidify. So it was surprising not to be part of the initial project task force, but to be considered through the pilot project analysis was valuable for us. So I'm going to call the question on that one, and all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Bolivar Park.
I'll move the R095, Bolivar Park Neighbourhood Request for Zoning Changes, the process.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. The Councillor Gill, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Despite having some reservations in terms of downzoning, I will be supporting this corporate report tonight, but certainly we have established some precedents throughout the city, and I want to give Boulevard Park neighborhood the same opportunity as we had other locations, but I do again want to say that I do have some concerns when it relates to downzoning. Thank you.
Thank you. Award of contract for the structure work for the main operations center, R096.
Move the report.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And Madam Mayor, on the table we've got corporate report R097, the BC Electoral Boundaries Commission report.
Yes.
I'll move recommendations.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And that is referencing our own statistics relative to population as opposed to the 2011 non-census statistics. Business arising, public hearing, number 1. Oh, the only one. What is the wish of council?
Madam Mayor, I'm going to move third, but I do have some comments.
Okay. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second third for discussion.
Okay. Could you push your... Thank you. Councillor Gill.
Madam Mayor, just through staff, I just wanted to understand what the landscaping buffering would be between the lots at the rear and the Gurdwara to the north, I believe it is.
More or less than usual.
Yes, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Gill. The applicant has volunteered to incorporate in the building design guidelines some additional landscaping at the rear of the lot, but the nature of that landscaping has not been determined yet.
Madam Mayor, just to staff, in terms of the site having the 5 lots, would it be prudent to have a restrictive covenant on these 5 lots, noting that there is a good water to the rear, and have we done that in the past? In terms of the noise, in terms of the community accessing the site?
Madam Mayor, we haven't done that in the past. Usually, in a situation like this, we've done good neighbor agreement with the properties to the north, not to the south.
Thank you.
Councillor Hayne.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I will be supporting the zoning, but would be encouraging the Gurdwara to come and speak with the city, because if there is a possibility for them to want to purchase this property, that wouldn't preclude them from doing so, even though we pass zoning tonight, because there will be some time between now and moving through to final and so on. So I believe that there will be some time, certainly, that we could enter into some discussions with the folks at the Gurdwara, and if their congregation is increasing as dramatically as they've indicated, they may well want to be looking at this property to go hand in hand with the property that they already have there in Cloverdale. But to turn it into a park at this point for their use, it's not in our Cloverdale Parks plan and so on, and so it doesn't fit in with that. But I would certainly encourage them to get together and find out if there's a way that a purchase could be made or some accommodations could be made. So those are my comments, but I will be supporting.
Thank you. See no other comments. I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Development variance permit.
Move 2A.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 3A, move the maximum percentage of resident tenant parking.
3A and B.
On 3, Madam Mayor, just move development variance permit 7913020101 be approved.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 4, move the development variance permit 7915007200 be approved.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 5, move that council support the issuance of development variance permit number 7913010601 upon final adoption of the related bylaw.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 6, move that council support the issuance of a DVP on 7913028601 upon final adoption of the related bylaw.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 7, move that council support the issuance of the DVP 7914015901 upon final adoption of the related bylaw.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 8, move council support the issuance of the temporary use permit 7914029700 once the outstanding conditions have been met.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move final on 9.
Second on 9.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move the introduction on number 10.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move first.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move second.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move public hearing set for June 15th.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Delegation requests. My understanding is on this first one, the galvanizing plant, have we issued the building permit, Mr. Planner?
We have issued all the permits, Madam Mayor.
Oh, okay. What is council's wish? I would...
Madam.
If it has to do with air quality, it could go to Metro? Okay.
Madam Mayor, if I could, I know through Councillor Starchuk that this has certainly come to EAC, and I'm wondering if we could encourage staff to reach out and make a connection for this gentleman to Metro, because certainly Metro is going to be in charge or is in charge of air quality and in the region, and so they're going to be the governing body on this, I believe, with what his questions are. So if we could just make that connection to Metro, I think that would be appropriate.
Okay.
And advise him.
And advise the The delegation request, yes. The next one, I believe, has already appeared before Healthy Communities.
That's correct, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And the final, does council wish to hear this at where? Council in committee or what is the
that we
wish?
meet at CIC.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. This is the item that I left to bring back for a full council, which we have today. So,
Madam Mayor, I'll move third on the K1.
okay. Seconder? Second. All right. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried? Not carried. Not carried. Denied. Do you have that, Madam Clerk?
Madam Mayor, can I see again who's opposed?
All those
Who's opposed?
who's opposed? I'm
Opposed?
opposed.
Bills.
Defeated.
Yes. Can I have our 16? That's it? You're okay with that, Madam Clerk? Okay. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Seconder? All those in favor? We are adjourned.